You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
Your co-host, Danny.
Fans, we got a full show for you today, but before we get into it, y'all know what to do. Go ahead and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Got a little talk about Formula One, a little MLB, a little NBA. First, Danny, right into Formula One and where the Hungarian Grand Prix happened. And this was the Grand Prix right before the summer break. Lando Norris, man, goes ahead and takes the win here. Oscar Piastri, second, very close second at that. So McLaren goes ahead and, does what McLaren do. Ironically enough, George Russell comes in third. Charles Leclerc, who started at the pole position, comes in fourth. But to me, Danny, I would say this, man, the talk of the weekend has been really about Sir Lewis Hamilton, some of the comments that he made after the qualifying round, where he actually got put out of Q3, basically started in 12th in the race and ended up in 12th. And so some of the comments that he made was, that he was useless and that they may need to look at getting another driver. And that was after the qualifying round. After the race, the question was asked, how does he feel now? Pretty much the same, saying that there's a lot of noise in the background. And so with that, let me just ask Ferrari, man, what the hell is going on? You got a 7-time world champion asking these questions or feeling this way. And I think this is far from just him not being comfortable with the car. At this juncture, a 7-time world champion, 8-time world champion is definitely comfortable with the car by now, with all the simulations and everything that is available to an 8-time world champion. Come on, man. Something going on behind the scenes, man. And throughout the course of the year, there's been talks about the race engineer and just the back and forth in terms of strategy, in terms of how to do this, how to do that, and the way he's been talking to Sir Lewis Hamilton and vice versa. Hey, man, something going on with Ferrari, and I think it's going to come out here in the coming days. There's not another race until the end of August.
Yep.
So as I mentioned before, this was the last Grand Prix right before the summer break. So something I believe is going to come out in the coming days. Danny, what say you about the Hungarian Grand Prix and about this situation with Ferrari?
Well, Jason, it's like a broken record, man. McLaren 1 and 2. And they were battling, though. It was actually cool to see because Piastri almost got Lando on one of those last turns where he tried to cut him. But Lando held him off, man. So it was a good race from that perspective. And Charles Leclerc was actually holding serve, man. He was holding that one spot for a while, and then they overtook him towards the end. McLaren doing what they needed to do, but I think it was a key win from George Russell's perspective on getting podium to get those points because he had a little drought there, and now with that, taking third, that'll help his cause going into the last half of the season. Sir Lewis Hamilton front. Jason, we've been talking about this all season, man. It looked like there's a couple times where it looked like, okay, he's getting over the hump. And then you have this now. I agree with you, man. I think over this break, since they have, 3-4 weeks, some more will come to the forefront. But I'm curious what he does, because if there's no agreement or, come to some kind of understanding, what does that mean for Sir Lewis Hamilton going forward? Because you can't race in that type of mindset. At least you can't race and be successful. So if he's not trusting either the people or the car, that's going to cause a lot of issues that, he just can't drive and, do what he needs to do when he's on the track. So I guess we'll see soon, man. But yeah, I thought a couple times, man, it looked like, okay, he's starting to get it together with the
Right.
team and everything, but no, that is not the case. So I guess we'll see what happens,
Yeah, and I need to look at his contract, but I think it's an option after the first year.
which is great for him if that's the case.
Right. So it could be something along those lines. New, I don't know. Again, I'm going off of memory, but I that's what I thought. I could be
Mhm.
wrong, but that's what I thought.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. And now, Danny, right into Major League Baseball, and where, man, the Milwaukee Brewers are brewing. Come on, Brewers. Come on, y'all. Listen, the Brewers are 2 games ahead of the Cubs in the National League Central Division. The Brewers begin a series today against the Atlanta Braves, and that's going to be something interesting, man. I did see that Miz is actually on DL due
Hmm.
to a shin injury. I still think the Brewers can get a couple games here in this series,
Hmm.
and I think that's what the Brewers have got to do. Have that mindset of let's just win the series.
Yep.
Let's just win the series because you keep doing that, good things are going to happen in the division. Good things are going to happen in the conference itself. What say you, Danny, about the Milwaukee Brewers?
Well, Jason, last time we spoke on the podcast, the Brewers were starting their series against the Cubs, and they took care of business. They got 2 out of 3. And like you said, win the series. That's been my thing too. And these huge series, like the one they have coming up with the Braves, the Mets this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
at least get 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And also tonight, the Cubs and Cincinnati Reds start a series, which is big because Cincinnati's right behind the Cubs. No, it was a great series this weekend, man. The Bats were on fire against the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
They blew them out Friday, and they just carried it all the way through the weekend. And like you said, with the Braves tonight, Acuna Jr. is out. He is
Mm-hmm.
actually on the injured list. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a series you definitely have to get to, with him not even being on the roster this series. And Jason, the last couple weeks, I don't know if you noticed his hat. And it's hard to see on the recording, but that's number 82. And if anyone knows about the Milwaukee Brewers, 1982 was the last time they made the World Series. So I'm trying to give them that mojo on the show, see if they could carry it through. So see what happens starting tonight. Priester's throwing for the Brewers, and see if they can get this series against the Braves.
And Danny, right into a little NBA talk, and where there's some extensions being made right now.
Mhm.
Today, Darian Fox of the San Antonio Spurs get pizzade. I'm just curious with the San Antonio Spurs. This made me look at their salary rosters. So they have Devin Vassell at 27 million. They have Harrison Barnes at 19, who's coming off. I mean, this is the last year of that contract. Kelly Olynyk. Of course, you have Victor. You got to think about Dylan Harper. 12.3 rookie deal here. Luke Cornett at 11 million. Stephon Castle only at 9.5 million. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I don't know how the San Antonio Spurs are just going to continue to pay everybody, because when it's time for Victor to get a max deal, I mean, that's another max player.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Darian Fox who got a max, then you'll have Victor with the max. How are these teams paying for a team?
Mm-hmm.
And so that just, I heard this and it really made me pause and think for a minute, Danny. There's got to be a set number of max players in the NBA. Like, everybody's not a max player. Like, I don't consider Darian Fox a max player, but I would consider Steph a max player
Mm-hmm.
because of the things that not only Steph has done, what he can do, and the people and the money that he brings in.
Yep.
I consider Giannis a max player, because of he's Giannis. I
Yep.
consider the Joker a max player. LeBron, is he a max player? I mean, max in terms of his contract, yeah. Is Luca a max player? I mean, obviously, because he just signed a contract. Are you kidding me? And he lost all the weight. So that's going to
Yep.
be interesting to see how Luca plays with less weight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Danny, everybody's not a max player. So all these max contracts that's being signed, I think it's going to hamper a team. Like I think it's going to hamper San Antonio, and I can see at least a trade or two having to happen because the governors are wanting to go up underneath the cap
Yep.
and not get taxed in the second apron.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering what teams are going to be successful and how does that look in terms of how many max players do they have on a team? What say you, Danny, about these signings and these max dollars, these max contracts being signed? And I don't blame the players. Get your money.
Yeah. Well, when Jalen Brunson signed that deal, I always go back to him. He sacrificed what, $100 million, and Mikal Bridges is the recipient of a 4-year, $150 million contract. But that's in part to Brunson being flexible with his contract. And if some of these players are not going to be flexible and leave some of the money on the table for other players to be signed, then you won't see a lot of movement in the NBA because these teams can't make trades
Mm-mm.
because they can't match, dollar for dollar with some of these players. And I'm curious if that'll be something. I doubt it, but with the upcoming CBA and things like that. But yeah, it's kind of part of the times now. And seeing some of the players you may not expect to get a contract like that, because they're not necessarily a box office draw. They're
Mm-hmm.
not globally known. Like you look at like a De'Aaron Fox, to no fault of his own, he got the money, good on
Mm-hmm.
him. But
Mm-hmm.
are people really going to watch De'Aaron Fox?
Exactly. Exactly.
They're going to watch Wemby.
You want to watch Wimpy, yeah.
But like you said, once Wemby's contract is to a point where he gets signed, and if he makes, those all NBA, you know how that tiering goes,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna San Antonio, I know, has a lot of picks, so that'll help. It's kind of the OKC model. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the way these teams are gonna have to go, man. But there's only so many picks to go around. These first and second round picks that
Yeah.
in the past it was like just dump the picks. Like look at Milwaukee. Let's try to win now, try to win now. But that I think that has
Mm-hmm.
to there has to be a kind of a paradigm shift that we saw this year that teams actually have to covet those because they pay two players. Who else can you bring in?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
so you got to draft and develop, which is definitely not Milwaukee's strong suit, but that has to be
Definitely
part
not.
of the part of the process in this new day and age with these contracts and the money that's being afforded to some of these players.
And to that point, Danny, I think one thing that we need to watch out for is when the current CBA is up or set to
Mm-hmm.
expire, which is not until the 29-30 season. Now, the NBA and the Players Association, they have the option to actually opt out of the agreement after
Mm-hmm.
the 28-29 season. I see that happening. I see that happening. The NBA has done a good job in the past, most recent past, in terms of having talks well before the CBA expires, like maybe a season or two prior to.
Mm-hmm.
I see that happening. Now, granted, yes, the money, the cap can go up year after year based upon the revenue that the NBA, pulls in, etc. So the salary cap can go up just a smidge, but not to the degree in where you can continue to have multiple max players on a team and you not paying some kind of tax or some kind of consequence later down the road here with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that come the 28-29 season, the players want to opt out of this deal. because it's either you get paid or you're a on a veterans minimal
Yeah.
contract.
Hmm.
There's not a whole lot in between. Maybe, 10, $14 million, for some players, maybe 19-ish. Like Kuzma, I think got lucky. Some other people got lucky with, having that contract already in place prior to the CBA.
Hmm.
But man, I think what's going to end up happening is the players are going to opt out of this deal. And what's going to be really interesting is for these max deals moving forward. I mean, is it the number of years in the deal now that's
Yeah.
sacrificed? Or, I mean, is it the amount of, I mean, I don't know. Something's going to happen with this upcoming CBA because the way that it is going right now, I can see those who are getting the money voting for anything that will continue to get them the money.
Hmm.
But in terms of those who aren't getting the money, oh, I could see them voting this down in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, a lot of them are facing that in this past free agency, and you may see Jason. You may see a lot of what happened with Dame, right, and Bradley Beal.
Most definitely.
That may be kind of the I don't say the course correction, but for some of these teams to try to get out of from under some of these contracts in say 2 years, where if a player is not producing, they're going to have to follow that model.
They've got to. And when this wave and stretch happened with Dame, I was floored. I think I would have just kept Dame on the roster for one
Mm-hmm.
more year and then, let him, go be a free agent, see what contract deal he can get at that point in time instead of waving and stretching. But
Yep.
I'm seeing that this is going to be, I think, almost a norm.
Yeah, that's my point because
Yeah, it's going to be a
teams are going to
norm
see
moving forward.
be like De'Aaron Fox, for example, right? If he doesn't play up to that contract, and what is playing up to that contract? That's the other thing that has to be defined with these contracts because if he's averaging 20 and say 8, is that good
Mhm.
enough? That have to be. So that's the other thing, what the parameters are from a team's perspective to say, yeah, this is what we signed up for. No, we got to get from under this contract.
That's 57 plus $1 million a year just in the extension itself.
And like Chet Holmgren's contract too.
Yeah.
That's another one that's like, ooh. that I'm
But
just
see,
looking at from his injury history. I know they're looking at potential, but he has injury history already that's kind of scary. So that's where.
yeah. But here's the thing with that though, Danny. I think with OKC's though model is to your earlier point, the
Hmm.
main draft picks that they have, they can
Hmm.
keep their core three together and then just continue to build around them with the picks
Yep.
that they have, and they can trade picks to get people. So they have at least a little bit of flexibility from
Yeah.
that front.
I just think these
Um,
players have to be available. I think that's part of this
exactly,
too, right? A lot of these
exactly,
the key players with these big contracts, if they're not playing, you're in a bind.
exactly. Yep, yep. So we'll see. And
Oh,
Danny,
okay.
a bonus coverage here, and where the NFL preseason has started with the Hall of Fame game, and where the Chargers just blew out the Detroit Lions 34-7. But this coming week we have a full slate of games, preseason, week one here, where you have your Colts, Ravens, your Bengals, Eagles. That's going to be an interesting one. Your Raiders, Seahawks, Lions playing again against the Falcons, your Falcons, Browns, Panthers, Commanders, Patriots, Giants, Bills, Texans, Vikings, Cowboys, Rams, and the Cowboys just got a whole lot of stuff going on in the news with Michael Parsons requesting a trade. Steelers, Jaguars, Titans, Buccaneers, Jets against the Packers, Chiefs, Cardinals, Broncos, 49ers, Dolphins, Bears, Saints, Chargers. So full slate of games, Danny. What say you, Danny, about the NFL preseason week one?
Yeah, Jay, the game on Thursday night, the Hall of Fame game. Good to see some of the rookies, and that's what with these preseason games. Just want to see who the coaches actually put out on the field because the Chargers actually played some starters in that first game. So that's what I'm curious from the Atlanta Falcons standpoint. Who will Raheem put out there? Will he play Penix at all? Get him some reps just to get familiar with some of the new team members or what they'll do there. So, no, just looking forward to it, man. Just check out some of the games, get the football itch scratched and see how some of these games go and who gets to play, and just hopefully no one gets hurt.
Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.